Scabby
Podcast. In an ancient hotel in room 142 lay two foolhardy fools with nothing to do. They sit and they ponder about movies they've seen while trapped in their room and stare at their TV screen. Sometimes they play songs on the instruments they've amassed. The Pinj and Maggie on the Scabby Hayze Podcast.
Welcome to the Scabby Hayze Podcast. This is your co-host Maggie.
And this is your other co-host, Pinj.
We just finished watching Captain Marvel in theater opening night, and the reviews are in.
Yes, the reviews are in. And thank goodness, I am happy that this film is okay.
Well, it's a pretty good film.
In this movie, we see a young girl named Veers, a Kree alien, discover her past, along with us, the audience, and try to stop the Skrulls from inhabiting the Earth, and much, much more. This movie stars Brie Larson, Samuel Jackson,
Jude Law, Ben Mendelsohn.
and whoever plays Coulson,
Greg something.
Greg Miller.
Oh, that's not Miller. Oh, no, it's Craig, not Greg. It's Craig something.
It's Craig.
Greg.
Greg, and Craig.
All right. So.
Real quick thoughts. It was good.
Yeah, we already said it was good.
Do you recommend it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, go see it.
Just a warning here, before we get into anything serious, this definitely has spoiler alerts in it. We're going to be giving away some major plot points, maybe some spoilers that might lead into things that are a little bit more serious. So, if you haven't watched it yet, go watch it and then listen to this podcast. If you haven't seen it yet, don't listen.
Yeah.
But if you have seen it, listen to what we have to say, because our opinions matter.
Yes. Let's talk spoilers.
I mean, it's part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so you have to watch it.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that we watched it before we were going to go see Endgame.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, honestly, a little spoiler alert, but you don't have to see it. But you should, if you want to get an introduction into Captain Marvel. Otherwise, you're going to just have this lady zooming in to save the world, and you're like, who is this lady?
If you know anything from the comics, it's pretty much beat for beat for the comics, or from the comics. It stays very truthful to, like, its source material, which I enjoy. Though I think a little variety, plot-wise, would have been nice. But for this, I feel this movie is very much a crowd pleaser. Like, it doesn't go too far or try to do too much. It stays pretty simple for the most part.
I will admit that I had negative thoughts about it, and I wasn't expecting very much from it from just watching the trailers.
Yeah.
And watching the trailers, I thought it was gonna have more of a Guardians of the Galaxy vibe.
Oh, really?
And in a little way, it kind of did, but not in the way that I expected. I thought Captain Marvel was gonna be super cocky and just kind of like, who would she be like?
An Iron Man-esque character. Very, sarcastic and
not
witty.
quite as arrogant, but more like... Oh, she reminded me of Valkyrie a little bit.
Oh, okay.
In the trailer, but when I watched the movie, it's like, parts of that are just her character, but I don't know. It made her more likable.
Yeah, I do like that she does stand out. Because Marvel is really filled with a ton of cocky characters. And, very, witty and jokey. And I like how she's not really. She's not like that. I feel this movie would play very well to a younger audience. A lot of the jokes and such. This isn't a very, violent film, really.
No.
It's pretty mild. It's a mild Marvel film. I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. There isn't a ton of, scientific jargon and stuff in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it didn't have to explain, the Kree world, and these are our standards, and we're high up. It's really, you kind of know the stuff. It's like, here it is. You know. It doesn't have to take time to explain everything, which I like. And it stays very, like, simple, plot-wise. It doesn't try to be, like, a Thor the Dark World where, oh, the universe is, falling apart and we have to save it. Or, like, oh, someone's gonna blow everything up. Or something like that. It doesn't really do that. The plot is, like, just kind of save these scrolls. Find out your past.
Yeah.
It's that.
I think it's because I had a little bit of trouble following what was actually going on, who was on whose side, because I think it was overly simple, and I was trying to overthink it. I was looking for clues for Endgame also, so my mind was kind of not where it should be. Because I'm thinking of Endgame and like, oh, what can I get from this movie so I can try to figure out what's going to happen in Endgame. And I kind of missed a little bit of it. But I think because it was so simple, maybe I missed that because, I don't know, because it isn't a whole planet of people against Earth.
Mm-hmm.
It's a group of people within the same realm fighting each other.
Yeah.
A little bit in the back of my mind, something in me wanted the Skrulls to be bad.
Yeah.
I think it's because they kind of have that look of evil about them. They kind of resemble the Dark Elves from Thor the Dark World. A little bit. And they just have that... And also, the fact that the main one, I forget his Skrull name.
Ben Mendelsohn.
Yeah, but
Ben Mendelsohn Skrull.
Ben Mendelsohn, he plays a good bad guy.
Yeah.
And he's kind of...
And he always plays a bad guy.
Yeah.
Ready Player One, Star Wars,
he's like
a Rogue One story. There's another one, and I know it slipped my mind, but I know he plays like another villain in some movie. Yeah. I just can't remember. He plays a lot of villains.
He plays a lot of like the sneaky, backbiting, will get you kind of bad guy. And I was kind of secretly hoping that he was fooling them when he...
Yeah, that's what I was thinking through the movie.
Was trying to make him feel sorry for him, but...
And I was like, are they going to keep with this storyline? Or is this going to be like a twist? And like, we pulled one on the audience? And I guess, good on them, because I guess it really sells the theory that like, oh, the Skrulls are so evil. And then you're like, do we really trust them that they're good? I don't know, good storytelling in that.
Also, what in the world happened to Ronan's makeup? He just has a blank blue face. There's no black lines all over him.
I guess he draws them on later. I guess he was feeling pretty emo-ish.
Maybe.
He's like, I hate Dad.
I hate life.
I'm gonna...
Nobody understands me.
Yeah.
It's not a phase!
Yeah,
I think maybe that's his war paint.
Could be, yeah. I know in Guardians of the Galaxy, there's like a scene where he's like sitting in a bathtub and then they like paint his makeup on. It's kind of, and I think it's kind of what you're saying. It's like war paint.
Yeah, like he's dressed for battle or something like that. Is Nebula Ronan's daughter?
No. Nebula is...
Thanos' robot
daughter.
Yeah.
Because, like, in the...
Did he make her?
No.
Where did
never
she come
was
from?
a robot.
Oh, she wasn't?
I
don't remember.
That was Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I think, where they explained that. Gamora and Nebula used to fight.
Yeah,
and Gamora
I know.
always won. And every time she lost, a part of her was, like, turned into a robot.
Every time Nebula lost?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that's why Nebula hates Gamora and stuff. And Thanos. Because they, like, made her into a robot.
Oh, to try to make her better. So the parts of her that were bad that made her lose the fight,
I guess.
He had to replace. Oh, okay.
I don't know. I guess. It's been a while since I've seen this.
It kind of makes sense. It's kind of...
Thanos-ish.
Messed up.
Yeah. A little bit of a twisted Thanos in there.
Yeah. I don't know. Thanos doesn't have that...
He doesn't really have that, like... He's got a twisted mind, but it's not, like, sadistic.
Yeah, that's kind of sadistic.
The cinematography was good in this movie. It wasn't spectacular, per se. The fight scenes were...
mediocre.
Yeah, they were mediocre. But they didn't have to be perfect. They weren't, like...
I did like the hand-to-hand combat. I was kind of hoping that Jude Law's character and Brie Larson's character would actually fist fight at the end.
Oh,
and they would have that raw strength toward each other at the end. But then she just blew him away, which was kind of funny.
It's kind of funny.
But at the same time, I was kind of hoping for that final...
I saw that one coming, though. I was like...
Yeah, me too.
I was like, oh, they're going to play this one for a joke.
What was your favorite part of the movie?
Favorite part of the movie, I'd say probably the train sequence, and like kind of before that when she first hits Earth. I thought that was probably the most entertaining because we kind of got to see the Skrulls' power.
Yeah, that's true. I'd say that's probably my favorite too. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was...
The shape-shifting, and at that point in time, you don't know who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. You don't know that the Krees are trying to kill the Skrulls for no reason, and the Skrulls aren't,
I do wish...
trying to destroy Earth.
I wish they would have played, like, the Skrull and, like, Kree reversal part to, like, one's good and one's evil. And then they, like, switch that halfway through the movie. I wish they would have saved that for a sequel. Or, like, somewhere later along the line. Because in the comics, I'm sure eventually they did the storyline of the Skrulls are actually good. But in the comics I've always read, the Skrulls are, like, totally evil. Yeah, and they're always fun to, like, read and discover, like, oh, this person is a Skrull. Because it, often pops up out of nowhere.
See, that's what I always thought. I always thought that the Skrulls were the bad guys. So that's why I was like, wait, what? And I was a little bit blowing my mind because I was like, no, they can't be good. They can't have families and care about other people.
Well, they can have families. They're not allowed to have families.
People that they care about. Yeah. They're not loving creatures. I don't know. I always thought that.
Yeah. And I guess interesting the way they played it.
Yeah.
It was fine, but I really wish they would have saved it later, because we will never see Super Skrull now. We'll never see it.
Oh, Super Skrull thing.
Super Skrull is a thing. It's a Skrull where, you know how, like, Skrulls, when they see someone, they can transform to them? Super Skrull is a specific Skrull that when he sees someone, he gets their powers, too. Oh. And it's really cool. Huh. He's mostly a Fantastic Four villain, so he'll have, like, all four of the Fantastic Four's power all at the same time. It's fun and interesting, and we'll never see that now, because Skrulls are good.
Yeah.
It kind of ruined it, but it worked well, I guess.
Yeah. They don't have any big plans for the Skrulls ahead, I guess.
I guess. Unless they turn evil for some reason.
Yeah.
Which would be kind of dumb.
Mm-hmm. So, I guess it kind of goes without saying that the reason that they want the Tesseract is to get more powerful.
I guess.
I mean, like, the whole reason that they sought out Dr. Lawson or whatever.
Yeah.
Was to get the Tesseract.
Yeah, because I don't think they need, like, an engine that goes fast, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, the Skrulls wanted it for the light speed to get away.
Yeah.
And the Kree wanted it for power, I guess?
Either that or just so they don't have it.
Yeah. Maybe just to get it away from the Skrulls. Yeah.
Either way, they want it. Which, the movie is just kind of all the way through like that. Kind of generic, but still enjoyable to watch.
Are we going to talk about Nick Fury's eye?
Yeah, I guess we might as well. It's kind of
anticlimactic.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Nick Fury is kind of, this mysterious person.
Yeah. You can tell he has, like, a hard past, and, like, he's seen a bunch of stuff.
Because he has a closed-off personality. He doesn't like people to understand his feelings, and he doesn't like to express himself through feelings or emotions. And then when you find out he loves cats, and it's all, I don't know, he just took on a different persona than we've seen Nick Fury.
Yeah, you're right on that one.
And then he lost his backstory to him losing his eye, which is a symbol of Nick Fury, is a cat scratching his eyeball.
And me personally, I've always liked that they left it mysterious, like, what could have possibly happened? And I knew
that masked man?
I knew, like, even when they announced that Nick Fury was gonna be in Captain Marvel, I was like, oh, they're gonna explain the eye.
I knew when I saw the trailer, and he had both his eyes,
and I was like, oh, great. They're gonna ruin it. But I was like, well, at least I hope they do something, like, big with it.
I thought they were going to.
Yeah, me too. Like, oh, man, that's how he loses it. Like, in some, like, big fight or something. And then he loses it to a cat.
And they did kind of trick us at the beginning, because he gets in that car wreck or whatever.
Oh, yeah,
and then
his
eye starts getting red, and you're like, oh.
Yeah,
And then he's like, oh, it feels alright.
Yeah.
He like takes the ice off it. He's like, how's your eye doing? It's all back to normal. He's like, it's fine. I'm like, oh, brother.
Yeah.
and then a cat scratches it.
Yeah.
Just so they can use the joke at the end where Coulson's like, so is it true that a Skrull, you fought a Skrull to keep them from getting the Tesseract?
Yeah, well, Kree's not a Skrull.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah. I didn't care for the cat that much.
Yeah.
It was definitely there to be like a crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look at the cat, everyone. Aren't cats funny and cat people jokes?
It was a comic relief that was...
It didn't really work for me. I'm sure other people like it.
Lots of people did. There was lots of people laughing in the theater. I just wasn't one of them.
Yeah.
I was literally straight-faced and like, okay.
I think I cracked a smile. Maybe at a few of them. Maybe at like the start. But it was really obvious that it was like, oh, there's clearly so much more to this cat.
And plus the animation was pretty bad.
The animation for this movie isn't the greatest.
I mean, especially for the cat.
Yeah, for the cat, it really shows. But when she's in space and such, it shows there.
Also, I mean, it kind of assumed that it was Dr. Lawson's cat, but it never explained that. So you're kind of like, where did this thing come from? And why all of a sudden does it have an octopus growing out of its mouth, grabbing tesseracts and eating them?
Yeah, now that... I did like the world building in this movie. It doesn't treat the viewer, like, so simple-ish. Like, at the start, you're not really sure what's going on. It doesn't take time to, like, explain everything. It's able to explain it in the world around it. Like, with the Krees and such, which I like. And with the cat as well. You kind of just have to put the pieces together.
Yeah.
And I like the respecting of to the audience that the movie does. Of, like, we don't have to explain this to you. We understand you're smart enough to figure this out yourself. And then you didn't understand the movie.
I mean, I kind of did. There were just parts of it that didn't make any sense to me. Like, because I didn't know if Dr. Lawson was good or bad. Because she was a Kree, but she was trying to get the Tesseract to the Skrulls. And that confused me because the Kree were trying to... The rest of the Kree were trying to destroy the Skrulls.
Yeah.
And then Jude Law's character shoots Dr. Lawson, and then I was even more confused because they're both Krees and he killed her. But then, I don't know, I must have missed the part where they said that Dr. Lawson knew what was going on and understood that the Kree were trying to kill the Skrulls for no reason.
They never explain how she understands that.
I know.
Not that I remember.
That's why I was confused.
But they do kind of say that she did know. Like, she understood, like, what that everything was fake, or that the battle was fake. They say that at one point. I like the fact that they actually went for a realistic look of, like, with makeup on the actors. But I'm not sure if I would like that better than CGI.
No, CGI would have been way worse.
Really?
Their mouths don't move the same way as...
That's true,
real
but okay,
people
think
talking.
of...
Also...
Think of, like, Ebony Maw from Infinity War.
Yeah, his animation isn't very good.
He looks good. When it,
He's
like,
also...
zooms in on his face and such.
He's also not a big part of the movie.
He's not a big part of the movie, but I feel like if they kind of did that, like, super realistic look, but with Skrulls, I don't know.
I think they did good. They did good just using the actors.
Yeah.
You can kind of tell that it's Ben Mendelsohn.
Yeah, underneath.
A little bit. His mouth, yeah. The way his mouth moves. There's just something about it. There's not that movement, that real movement that a person has that they just can't capture with animation.
Yeah.
Even though the animation's pretty good and it's getting a lot better, it still isn't able to capture that realistic.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
I don't know. You think of, like, it had a little bit of a feel to almost Star Trek levels with, like, the makeup. It kind of felt like that.
Kind of like Klingons.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
To, like, it doesn't really feel like, oh, that's an alien. Yeah. It kind of feels like, oh, that's kind of a person in makeup. A little bit.
Yeah.
It's not, like, glaringly obvious when you watch the movie because you're invested in such. But I feel with animation it would, like, really, really sell it.
Yeah, but you don't want to get into anything like Avatar.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Then it could have been really bad. Yeah.
But you think of, like, Nebula. She feels really, like, alien and robotic, but that's all real. Like, that's all makeup.
Yeah.
And it's done well.
Yeah.
Or you think of, like, Ebony Maw, he feels real, but he's animated and such.
Yeah.
He might have been motion capture. He probably was.
Most animated things are.
I don't think Toy Story was.
Whoa, come on. Really? They're gonna put motion sensors on Tom Hanks? Move like a toy cowboy.
I can do that.
That's your Tom Hanks impression?
Can you do better? Come on, let's hear it.
Christmas may not be important to some people, but it is very important to the rest of us.
Yeah, not bad, actually. You could be a Tom Hanks impersonator. Go run around on an island in a diaper and yell Wilson a lot.
Wilson! I liked Carol.
Carol, yeah, Carol Danvers.
I thought she had a good character. She had good reactions.
Mm-hmm.
And
You
she's powerful. She's really powerful.
Yeah.
She's maybe a little overpowered.
I like how they didn't underplay her powers, because she is actually strong in the comics. And it's nice to see them, like, go all out with it. Like, no, she's actually this strong.
There were a lot of jokes in this movie that were relatable to people who lived in the 90s, since it's set in the 90s.
Yeah.
And tons of the jokes were played off of that.
Yeah.
Like the loading...
Uh-huh.
The loading symbol on the computer, the ancient, like, XP and Vista computer.
Yeah. The pager.
The blockbuster.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The humor is pretty simplistic in this movie.
And people liked that, the relatable,
mm-hmm.
things that we all lived with back then that we don't have today.
They might have played it a bit too much.
Yeah.
I feel they did. With, like, the random record player and... the brain thing. It's a brain in the comics. Hey everyone, post-production Pinj here. My apologies, but what we're trying to talk about right here in this part of the podcast is called the Supreme Intelligence. From the comics, it is the sort of Kree supreme leader that just kind of helps him out. And that's kind of what happens. And in the comics, it's a brain, but in the movie, it's like a liquid and attaches to your head, and you see stuff. And that's kind of it. In the comics, it's really just like this big blob person that they always go to, and they're like, hey, how do we fix this? And he's like, blah, 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 go to plan. And it's kind of weird. And I'm glad they didn't do that, because I don't want to see a weird blob person. It's just gross.
But you would watch The Thing.
I would watch The Thing. You know what? I'm going to tell our viewers. Maggie refuses to watch The Thing because she thinks it's ugly.
It's hideous. It's stupid.
She's not.
It's like an ancient, but kind of a baby head on, like, spider legs. I don't know what the heck it is, but it's hideous and I'm not watching it.
Well, yeah, you're kind of dumb for thinking that.
Why?
Because that's
I'm
not,
allowed
you
to
don't
have opinions about what is ugly and what is not.
Yeah, you're allowed to think it's ugly. I mean, not that it isn't ugly, it is, but
You must think it's so cute.
no, I don't. It's the world in the movie. It makes sense. It's not there to be ugly.
Okay, well, I don't want to see it because that thing is hideous.
Well, you should. I'm gonna tell our listeners. If you, like, vote, maybe someday, we'll have everyone tell you that you need to watch The Thing, and then we'll sit down and we'll watch The Thing, and then you'll see, oh, this movie's actually worth watching instead of comparing it to a baby head, which is dumb.
It is. It's like an old man baby head on top of tentacles.
Yeah. It's there.
Stupid.
It's awesome. It is.
Okay, well, your definition of awesome is very different than mine.
It's not that far off. Just in that section, it's way off. Listen, you like Jaws.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
you keep saying you like Jaws. Jaws isn't ugly, it's just a shark.
Yeah, it is.
It's a shark.
There's a big bloated man head in it.
What?
There is. How many times have I mentioned?
Oh, brother.
It's so ugly.
It's one tiny itty bitty little scene.
So is it in the thing? That thing isn't through the whole movie.
Well, I didn't know that because I haven't seen the movie.
That's exactly why you should watch it. And
Okay,
you shouldn't
then
be
why
judging
is it like on all the covers and like all the pictures? It must be a big part of the movie.
Well, yeah, it is.
Okay, well, you don't see that bloated dead man
I
from Jaws.
do. I knew
dumb
about
because
that
he
thing before I saw the
screeches,
movie.
and
And
he's
he's
dead.
dead.
Oh,
I'm so
no.
scared that I saw that scream. Guess I have to go find a new co-host.
You can get Michael Caine to do your dirty work.
Dude, I bet Michael Caine would be down to be on a podcast.
No, he wouldn't.
I don't want to get into any of that stuff. I'm too old for that junk.
No, I'll tell you now. I don't want to be in any more podcasts.
That Marvel beginning with all the Stan Lee pictures
Oh,
in
man.
it.
Yeah, our theater clapped right after it was over.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
That
but
was
really sad
cool.
at the same time.
So it had a great tribute.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really nice.
Kind of sad though.
It is. Jude Law is still alive.
Yeah.
That was a
that's
strange
true.
choice. I thought, oh, because it's Marvel, they're going to kill off the villain.
Yeah.
Because that's done in every single Marvel movie. Except Thanos.
What about Ronan? He's still alive.
No, he's dead.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, they blew him up with the purple rock.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, remember?
Ah,
They do the dance,
dance
off,
off?
and
Yeah.
then they all grab hands, and then
Oh,
he releases it and he
yeah.
blows up.
That's true. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, Jude Law is still alive. And
I liked his character.
yeah, he wasn't that bad. He wasn't like an annoying villain.
But I like Jude Law. I think he's a good actor.
This is the
I
first
liked him
thing
in
I've seen him
Sherlock
in.
Holmes. Yeah.
But anyways, it's interesting that they kept him alive. I'm curious if they'll like bring him back.
Probably.
I don't know.
They'll bring him back when they bring Zemo back because he didn't die actually.
You know what? I'll bet somewhere in Endgame they'll just throw him in there and he'll be like, "Oh, he dusted."
They better not.
I bet they will.
I'll be so mad.
that that would suck.
Zemo's like my favorite villain.
He's a pretty good villain
Yeah.
because he says, "My father was a mouse."
He doesn't sound like Solomon Lane. You're gonna.
You should have killed me, Heath.
You're gonna destroy your throat.
I know.
You're not gonna be able to talk to
Yeah.
him.
This was a good way to set up Captain Marvel. I feel it did a great job of that. Everything that this movie needed to do, it did well. It didn't do great. I feel this movie would have really benefited from a longer runtime.
Really?
Yeah,
If it was any longer, it would have started to get boring.
it all depends.
Because it would
I
have
think-
dragged things out that didn't need to be dragged out.
I think if they put more time and maybe like the characters with her friend, if maybe we saw a little bit more of their past, that would have been helpful.
I don't know. I think they did pretty good with all the memories and stuff that they had together. The pictures
It's
where the
true.
little girls bring out the pictures helped with that. But I think maybe what they could have done again was make that last fist fight between
Yeah.
Jude Law's character
Yeah, I feel like
and Captain Marvel.
there's just a few things they could have done better with a little bit longer amount of time. I feel it would have, even though the runtime would have been longer, I think it still would have benefited if they focused on the right things. But I feel this movie does well. It does. It's not great. It's definitely not my favorite Marvel movie.
Yeah,
But
it's
it's-
not mine either, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, this isn't a bad movie by any
Yeah.
means, but
Those weren't that great.
it had the potential to be more. It wasn't. I wasn't expecting it to. I had like middle hopes for the movie, and you know what? It fit that, and I like it for that.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be like grandiose or extremely simple or anything like that.
Why are your pupils enormous?
I don't know. How am I supposed to know how my pupils are?
Your pupils.
My pupils.
I need pupils.
Oh man.
Alright, well, if you are interested and would like to follow us on social media, we're on Instagram and YouTube and not Twitter yet, but we will be pretty soon. I'm gonna try to work on that.
You better.
I've been working on it for a couple weeks
We're
now.
on our 7th episode.
Oh, we are?
We're on our 7th episode. How cool is that?
That is pretty
It
cool.
won't be too long for in the double digits. I'm excited. We should do something crazy for that.
Yeah,
for our 10th episode.
We should
Should
invite Michael Caine.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, yeah, but we're also on Podbean, TuneIn, and
Spotify. And iTunes.
And iTunes.
Yeah, iTunes.
You can listen to us on any of those platforms.
Yeah, tune in next week. We're going to play some more jammin' tunes.
Yeah, we're going to play some more music.
Hopefully as good as our last episode.
If you enjoyed that episode, then listen to us next week
Yeah.
and we'll upload another one for you, hopefully.
Yeah, some good old music.
You'll enjoy it.
Maybe.
Let us know if you have any suggestions for movies that we could review, or songs maybe you want us to hear or you want us to play.
Yeah, maybe throw out some titles of like non-existent songs we could sing about or make up.
Yeah, give us the title of a song and we'll make up words about it in a tune.
Yeah. Also, please, for those of you listening, I know it's kind of a lot and kind of annoying, but find us on social media and just message us, tell us anything.
That you're listening to our podcast.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah.
We'd be glad to hear from you.
Yeah, we would love to hear from our fans. For those of you listening. Would really, really like it and appreciate it.
And we actually know that a couple of you are listening to our podcast. We
true.
see your views on there. We see you.
We're checking. We're making sure you're all on.
And we love to hear from you. So comment on one of our social medias or message us somehow.
Yeah, even if you tell us we suck, I mean, we don't care.
Let us know.
Yeah.
We accept any criticism,
It's
constructive
true.
or
even if you say
mean.
even if we say like we're ugly, we'll take it with a grain of salt.
They can't see us.
Oh yeah.
We're voices.
It's true. As far as I know, we're just like spirits or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're voices. We're robots. Ooh.